Hey guys, I'm back. Today's a special day. Why? Because look what I got here. If you guys have followed me, you know that I bought this bike in November and never ridden it. And today's going to be its main voyage. It's the 2020 KTM 250 XC250tpi. And I'm going to be commentating what I think about my initial ride on this bike. I've never ridden this aside from taking one small lap and first gear around my backyard, but just to prove to you guys this bike's never been ridden. I had it since November of last year. I don't know if you can see that. 0.09 miles or hours, sorry, 0.09 hours. So that's not even nothing. So we'll see how she handles. Stay tuned. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to let you know I'm running about 15 pounds of air in the front shock. I know most people do about 115. Most people do about like 140 or 120 pounds. I'm doing 115 because I'm lighter than most people. And running about 9 pounds in the rear tire and 10 up front. So one thing I'm going to say right off the bat, again, I know I said this before, but I love these TPIs. The power is so linear on this bike. It's so easy to control. I had a 250 SX. It was like a 2015, I believe it was, or somewhere around there, and it had the explosive power, and I didn't like it. It was uncontrollable, but this feels controllable. Like, I don't know, it feels really controllable. I like it. I thought all the bikes didn't have too much, not that 250 has too much power, but I didn't want to feel uncontrollable in a race like I did with my SX. I would get whiskey throttle and I was almost hitting trees, and you know, right when I first started racing I wasn't used to it. But this, surprisingly, is very, very controllable, user-friendly power. I like it. I can definitely go out on that power valve spring a little bit because it's wound in pretty good. So if I wanted more punch, I can definitely bring that power valve spring out. But right now, the characteristics I'm really liking. I don't notice a lot of weight rotational mass compared to the 150. This bike does feel very nimble. It really does. Almost that of my 150. And to be honest, I almost like the riding style on this KTM over the Husky. Like the cockpit of how I'm sitting, it's close to the same, but it's definitely different. I feel like more upright and controlled on this versus the Husky. I'm sitting down a little bit lower versus over the bars. So I really like that. Man, this thing got some good low end on it. downshift. This is nice. This is nice. Ah. Suspension feels really good, actually. This is my first time riding with an air fork, and some people say they absolutely hate it. Some people love it. It actually feels pretty good. Oh, I love the low end on this thing. Sorry guys, I'm being a wuss about a lot of things because I really just can't get hurt right now. I'm just out trying to test this bike and have fun. Normally I'd be jumping off of stuff and taking chances, but I can't do that right now. So I can tell you right now, you definitely got to work it a little harder on the 150. Like, you don't even have to downshift on this thing, because again, I like riding smooth in a gear high. That's just my riding style. I'm not on the pipe in your face type rider, and this is definitely nice, you know, as far as smoothness and torque versus the 150. You're you know, you can't be a lazy rider on that bike at all. You're definitely working the clutch, you're definitely working the gears. You definitely got to be on point with your gear selection. I can't tell you how many times I've come up out of a sharp turn and there was a fucking steep uphill grade right after it, and I got screwed. And if I didn't know that that hill was there, you know, I definitely paid for getting stuck in the middle of it. But man, this thing is nice. Once I get a little acclimated, I'll go a little faster. I'm in third, just lugging it. Lugging it. You know, I will say I do like the 150 because you have to work a little harder, so it's a little more rewarding to ride that bike. It's a little more of a challenge, and that I like. I don't want to do that. But this bike is growing on me. It's growing on me. All right. I definitely don't really care for the tires though. Even though I have low PSI in them, they don't hook like my M59 and that Shinko 525 does. So the very first thing before I race this bike, I'm definitely putting those tires on. Those are a must-have. Definitely a must-have. This bike feels nimble though. I really can't tell the difference. I feel like my TE sits a little bit lower. I'll say that. It sits a little bit lower, so it's a little bit more, I got a little bit more confidence on it as far as when you're just lower to the ground. But I don't mind this height. This isn't still nearly as bad as my FX was. That was a tall bike. I've never been down any of these trails here. This is all new to me. So just a little bit I've been riding this bike. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and just say you cannot go wrong buying this bike. Yeah, right. If you like to ride a gear high, like I do, this would be a better choice over the 150. If you like to ride on the pipe and have that challenge, I like the 150 for that. And I got the 150 up for sale, honestly, just because of the fact that I have all these bikes and I never rode this bike, and it just wasn't fair because I played so much favoritism to the 150 that I didn't want to ride this bike. But now that I'm on this bike, and now that I'm popping its cherry, I would say, I don't know, man. I kind of like this bike, and I almost want to sell the 150 so I can buy all the gear for this bike. But make no mistake, if we get any races this year, I'm gonna race the 150 for this one, because of the fact that all my money's into that bike right now, with all the protection and the graphics, my race number and all that stuff. I literally have nothing on this bike right now. Yeah, man, I'm going so slow. This thing's just nice. I don't even really have to downshift. It's nice. Yeah, these guys left me in the dust. Bike lofts pretty good, even though it's little. Yeah, I don't mind this air fork at all. I mean, the TE is definitely a more plush ride, for sure. But I don't have this dialed in either. I'm just riding it right out of the box, aside from lowering the air pressure in the fork, and that's it. Man, you guys going through Narnia over here. Gears are much longer on here. Well, no, I mean, I could scream the 150 and they're long, but that's the difference. You know, you're screaming that bike versus this one. You know, so this bike is 5 pounds heavier than the 150, the TE 150 anyways. And I don't notice it. I don't notice it. It's like so minute, if any, that it's negligible. And there's no advantage to that 150 over this bike. None that I can see or feel. If anything, this bike has way more advantage, seeing it's a 250 with the same weight, basically. As I'm scratching it all up. Now I see why Fernando's so fast on his bike. This is definitely a whole different animal. And it's so much smoother than my 250 SX that I had. So much smoother. And these CPIs are just, I see why they call them a 3-stroke. They're in between a 2-stroke and 4-stroke. The power is just so smooth. Sketch. Ugh. Yeah, I should not be doing that right now on my shoulder. The gearbox is super smooth, even clutchless shifting. Sometimes with my my TE, I feel a little clunk in the tranny when I don't use the clutch, especially going from first to second. But this gearbox is really smooth. But then again, it's brand new, so who the hell knows once it's worn in a little bit. Yeah, but first to second right there, that was super smooth. Yeah, I'm not digging these. This front tire washes out very easily. I'm not digging it. Honestly, in my opinion, guys, and like so many other riders say, the very first mod you ever make on a bike is tires. They're so important. And I didn't really realize it until I started racing, and they do make a difference, man, because the tires that I've been running, they just hook so much better than these stockers right here. Holy! I was not expecting that hill. I was second gear, fully chopped throttle, got back on without even hitting the power, power valve, and that fucker just lugged right up there. That was pretty steep. I know the GoPro doesn't pick that up, but I'll take my word for it. 150 going up that hill, if I didn't shift down to first, I would have been stuck in the middle of that hill, no doubt in my fucking mind. Not if I had a running head start and I knew that hill was there, no, I would have made it. But not knowing that that hill was coming up like that, I definitely would have got stuck in the middle of that hill. No doubt. And that would be the difference between these bikes. I'm like absolutely guessing where these guys are at right now. I really like these trails though. I mean, the other ones a little bit more so than these ones. We're just going backwards on this shit. But they didn't want to go the other way where we crossed the river, so. It's set up really linear right now, which I like, but I might need just a little bit of snap. I mean, I'm only giving it a quarter throttle too, so you know that could have a lot to do with it. But like I said, I don't like to be on that throttle hardcore, but I want to feel that snap at my fingertip if I want it. And that's how I have my 150 set up. So I'll try the same with this. Yeah, this transmission definitely shifts a lot smoother than the 150. And that could also be because of my chain tension on the 152. It's not super tight, but I did adjust it a few times. So I know that plays a factor when the gears are like got some load on them. Yeah, this front tire's gotta go.